Sometimes the biggest obstacle in our life is not the world around us, but the voice inside our own mind. A single negative thought can quietly convince us that we are not capable, even when we truly are. In a peaceful village surrounded by green hills, there lived a wise saint who was respected by many people. Young students from different places came to stay with him, hoping to learn not only knowledge but also the wisdom needed to live a meaningful life. Among those students was a young man named Ravi. Ravi was sincere and hardworking, but he had one habit that troubled him deeply. No matter what task he was given, he would quietly say the same words. "I can't do this. I'm not capable. I'm not like the others." When the other students volunteered for responsibilities, Ravi stayed silent. When someone encouraged him to try, he quickly shook his head and stepped back. "I'll only make mistakes," he would say. The strange thing was that Ravi was not lazy. He woke up early, helped with the daily work, and listened carefully to every lesson the saint taught. Yet somehow he had already decided that he was not good enough for anything important. The saint noticed this. For many days he watched Ravi quietly. He saw how Ravi doubted himself even before trying. He saw how a single negative thought could stop him from moving forward. One morning the saint called Ravi. "Come walk with me," he said gently. They walked toward the small garden behind the temple where the air was cool and calm. Birds were singing softly in the trees. As they walked, the saint picked up a small glass jar and filled it with water. Then he took a spoonful of salt and dropped it into the jar. "Drink this," he said. Ravi hesitated but took a small sip. Immediately he frowned. "It's very salty," Ravi said. The saint nodded quietly. Then he asked Ravi to follow him a little farther. Soon they reached a large lake nearby. The water was clear and still, reflecting the morning sky. The saint took another spoonful of salt and dropped it into the lake. "Now drink from the lake," he said. Ravi bent down, scooped some water in his hand and tasted it. "It tastes normal," he said with surprise. The saint looked at him and asked calmly, "Why do you think the jar water was salty, but the lake water was not?" Ravi thought for a moment. "The jar is small," he replied. "The salt affected all the water, but the lake is too large for a small amount of salt to change its taste." The saint smiled gently. Then he said something Ravi would remember for the rest of his life. "Negative thoughts are like that salt." Ravi listened carefully. When your mind becomes like a small jar, even a tiny negative thought can make your whole life feel bitter. One doubt, one fear, one mistake, and suddenly you believe you are not capable. The saint looked toward the calm lake. But when your mind becomes like this lake, wide, deep, and peaceful, those same negative thoughts cannot control you. Ravi stood quietly, thinking about his life. For years, he had allowed every negative thought to fill his mind completely. Every time his mind whispered, "You can't do this," he believed it immediately. The saint continued gently. "The problem is not that negative thoughts appear. Every human mind creates them. The problem begins when we believe them without questioning." Those words touched something deep inside Ravi. For the first time, he realized that he had been treating every negative thought as if it were the truth. But what if those thoughts were wrong? From that day on, Ravi decided to try something different. Whenever the voice in his mind said, "You can't do this," he paused for a moment before believing it. Instead of stepping back, he tried. Sometimes he failed. Sometimes he made mistakes. But each time he tried again, the voice became a little weaker. Weeks passed, and the other students began noticing a change in Ravi. The same young man who once avoided every challenge was now volunteering for responsibilities. He still felt doubt sometimes, but it no longer controlled him. One evening, the saint watched Ravi helping a younger student who was struggling with a difficult task. Ravi patiently encouraged him and said something the saint recognized immediately. "Don't believe the first negative thought that comes to your mind. Try first." The saint smiled quietly, because Ravi had finally understood something that many people spend their whole lives trying to learn. We all have moments when a quiet voice inside our mind tells us we are not capable, not ready, or not good enough. That voice can make even small challenges feel impossible. But those thoughts are not always the truth. If we allow them to fill our mind like a small jar, they can make our whole life feel bitter. But when we learn to question them, when we keep moving forward despite them, our mind becomes stronger and wider, like a lake. And when that happens, those same negative thoughts lose their power. Sometimes the biggest change in life doesn't begin outside us. It begins the moment we stop believing every negative voice inside our own mind.